Hi everyone! I'm gonna finally film a video that I've been pushing off because I still feel awkward from everything, and I'm also sick with the cold, so I probably shouldn't even be filming, but here I am. And also, if this video cuts off randomly, it's because I have to take a break to blow my nose, so please excuse me. Alright, so the video that I've been kind of pushing off is more because it was kind of scary, I think. I don't know how much I'm allowed to say. I don't know what I can say, so I've kind of been pushing it off. But I'm just gonna kind of share a story that a lot of you guys have been asking me about for at least like 8 years now. I'm just gonna share it. So hopefully it goes well. If I get in trouble for this after, then oops, I didn't know. The one question I've been getting for years and years and years is, how did I start working in the K-pop industry? So as you guys may know, I'm no longer working for K-pop. It kind of worked out because right now we're not really doing concerts anymore anyway because of COVID. So I kind of stopped working at the perfect timing, started a new job, and have been very stable with my income ever since. So I've been kind of grateful that I chose a good time to stop, but also I've worked for a long 7 years and have tons of stories from that experience. But starting off, how did I start? So this is actually probably gonna be a surprise for everyone. People asked me what did I study in college to start, or how the interview process was like, and unfortunately I don't have answers to any of those questions because I myself have not gone through an interview process for it, and I also was a freshly new high school graduate when I started working. So what happened is my brother knew somebody, like an acquaintance or a friend, who happened to be working for a K-pop concert management company. And I don't want to specify what company, so I'm just gonna refer to them as Company Z. So this Company Z, they took on a role of being like the promoters and managers of a concert called K-Con. And this concert, I'm sure you've all heard of it by now, but back then it was like a brand new thing where it's a Korean pop concert with a convention combined, and it was new. It was supposed to be like one of those like anime expos or something very similar, but just a K-pop concert plus a convention. So it was like a brand new idea. They were just bringing it into Irvine, and I happened to be living in Irvine. So they were looking for translators for all these different groups. And so my brother was like, hey, are you interested? You speak Korean and English, so like it would be a nice experience. Plus you're in Irvine and you aren't really doing anything because you're just kind of going to college, but you know, not really doing anything else. So then I kind of thought about it. I looked at the list of people performing. I think I only recognized like one group at the time, and I think that group was 4 Minute. And apart from them, I just didn't know a single artist. So I was kind of like, do I really want to translate and be around people, so many strangers? I've never translated before. I've actually never worked anywhere before up until that point. So I was like, do I really want to do this? But I was like, what do I have to lose? It was supposed to be like a 3-day event, and I was just supposed to be like some kind of paid volunteer. So I was like, you know what? Let's just try it out. So then I told my brother yes. So a girl from Company Z emailed me, and she was like, oh, are you good at English and Korean? Are you fluent? How fluent are you? I was very honest. I was like, I'm pretty fluent for a Korean American, but I'm not as fluent as someone who was born and raised in Korea. So like there are some times where I have trouble with my Korean, but then overall, like conversation wise, I can hold an entire conversation in Korean and I'll be okay. So she was like, oh, you know, I heard like you're so-and-so's sister, so I'll like call you in for an interview. So I was like, all right. I was freaking out because I've never done an interview before, but I was kind of like panicking. And then like within like 5 minutes, she called me on the phone, and I think she was trying to test my Korean, because at first she asked me questions in English and then just casually changed it to Korean, and so I was like responding in English and Korean and kind of like going back and forth. And then she told me at the end, she's like, oh, I'll contact you and then I'll let you know. We're gonna have a meeting before the actual event to like gather all the translators and kind of assign groups to everyone and get to know each other. So I was like, okay, sounds great. So then fast forward, like I think it was like a couple weeks, and then she emails me and she tells me that I'm gonna be the translator for one of the artists for the K-pop group. So I was like, all right, sounds cool. I don't really know anyone, but okay. And then she told me to meet her at like a coffee shop in a mall, and that's where everyone was gonna be. So I went. It was like the day before the event. We all met up at the coffee shop, and then I happened to be the first one there. And she like sat me down, and I was giving her my information, and then she told me, she was like going through a list, and she told me that I was going to be translating for a group called New East. I want to pronounce it as New East. That's how the Koreans pronounce it, so I'm going to say New East. And so I was like, all right, sounds great, okay. And it was a very short meeting, just kind of going over who's doing what. And then like they just told us that we're going to meet at a hotel the next day and carpool to the airport to pick up the artist. So I was like, all right. So then I got home that night. I have no clue who this New East group is. So like we were supposed to meet the next morning, early in the morning at a hotel in Irvine. And so I spent the entire night watching videos of this group, trying to memorize the names, because I thought at the very least, if I don't know their names, it could offend them as celebrities. And like I don't want to be put in an awkward situation where I have to help someone out and I don't know who I'm helping out. So I studied all their names, watched like all these variety shows, wherever any YouTube video I can find of this group, I watched. And then that morning I was like getting ready and I was so confident. I was like, I know all these members, I recognize them all now, I'm prepared for this. So then the next day happens. Early in the morning we meet at the Irvine Hotel, and then all the translators are together and we're just kind of waiting for a big van to take us to the airport. And then we get in the van, we're carpooling to LA, and then it turns out that not my group, but like New East, the group I was assigned to, were gonna be the first group to leave the airport. So I was gonna be the first person to come back to the hotel. So I was waiting over there. I was waiting by the car that the artists were gonna take. So the members come out, and then I get in their car. They're like, I'm sitting in the passenger side, and the group is sitting behind me with their managers and other staff. And so we're like driving from LA to Irvine. It's like an hour-ish drive without traffic. And then we get to the hotel, and I just kind of like send them off to their hotel rooms, and I'm like waiting at the lobby for my next directions. So a lot of this job was like, you just kind of wait until you're told what to do. So I was waiting there, and then like within 5 minutes, a group called XOM arrived at the hotel, but instead of the girl who was assigned to them getting out of their car, it was one of the Company Z staff members who was getting out of their car as the translator. So I was kind of confused, but like I didn't really think much of it. And then I just kept waiting at the lobby of the hotel, saw them go up, and then the girl who contacted me for the job at Company Z, she like frantically came up to me and she's like, I need you to switch groups. And I was like, wait, what? What do you mean switch groups? And she's like, so New East and XOM were the only groups at the hotel. Everyone else is at the airport. And then only like the essential Company Z people were at the hotel. And so she was telling me that the girl who was assigned to XOM is a girl that they've been working with for quite a while now, and she lives in LA. So instead of meeting us in the morning in Irvine, she asked if she can meet us all in LA at LAX because it's a much shorter drive for her. And so they let her do that. But the problem is she must have either overslept or something happened because she never showed up at the airport. and no one was able to get in contact with her. So then this Company Z male worker had to get in their car like last minute and come over. But the thing is, XOM and their staff wanted to leave the hotel within the next like 5-10 minutes to go to an outlet in Palm Springs area, but like they need someone to accompany them. And this Company Z male worker, he was like too much of an essential worker to accompany this group for the whole day. And this girl, this LA girl who was assigned to them, is still like nowhere to be found. So she just kind of came up to me and she was like, you know what, like New East, they're not planning on leaving their hotel anytime soon. And the Company Z worker who sat with XOM and brought them to the hotel happened to be personal friends with one of the New East members. So she was like, you know what, like he can handle New East if they ever need anything, but you need to go with XOM now. So I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't want to go because I spent all this time overnight watching a video of New East and memorizing their names, and I felt like all that hard work and effort just kind of like flew out, and I'm stuck with the group I know zero information about. And the only information I knew was that their name is XOM and that they're from SM. So then I have to be careful. So I was like panicking and I was like, I don't want to go. I'm such an introvert. I don't like meeting new people. So I was like, oh, okay. I just kind of like agreed to go and I like ran over. So then I'm like running over and she just like grabs me and she like takes me to one of EXO's managers, and she's just like, she throws me in there and she's like, this is gonna be your guys' translator. And then I'm just like, okay, all right. And then we're like exchanging phone numbers and like Kakao information. And then I was like, oh, like 안녕하세요. And then it was like very quick because the members were already coming down and I was like, ah. So then I like run back to the lobby and I see these guys, these 6 K-pop guys coming down, and then we like walk to the car and I get in. And I turn around and I'm just like, I don't know what to do, but 안녕하세요, I'm Joyce. And then I kind of like introduce myself and we get going to Palm Springs. And the thing about this drive is from Irvine to Palm Springs, it's like it takes at least like a couple hours to get to that outlet, and it just so happened that there was a bunch of traffic, so it's gonna take a really long time. So then it is kind of awkward for me because everyone else, they know each other, and I was just kind of thrown in there and I'm sitting in the passenger seat. But luckily there's one member who spoke fluent English and he happened to be sitting, so if there's like a van, it's like driver, passenger, and then in the back there's like a row of just seats, and he was sitting like in the middle of the row right behind me. So if I just turn around, like there's nothing blocking him, it's just him. So he was like peeking his head over and he's like, hi, what's your name? So I was like, oh, I'm Joyce. And in my head I'm like, you speak fluent English? I can be more comfortable now. So then we just like started getting really friendly. He was very outgoing, which I appreciated. And then I think the other members were also very curious because they were a brand new group too. They've only been out for like half a year at that point. And so this is a new experience for them too. So then they were like asking for my information, not like phone number or anything, but like, how old are you? What's your name? Blah, blah, blah. And then this shopping experience. So the thing is, the mall or the outlet was going to close within like an hour or like 30 minutes to an hour. So then there was no time for us to all go around this giant outlet together. So they decided to split into groups. So then like one manager would take a couple guys and then the other would take the rest. So I got placed with all the Chinese members of the group, and then we were just kind of going around and they were being really friendly, like kind of taking care of me, making sure I don't feel too awkward. You know, like one of the members like offered to buy me a smoothie to kind of include me, which I thought was really nice. And then so, you know, I just got really lucky. And then fast forward like a couple days, and then brain fart. Okay, I had to like gather my thoughts again because I just kind of lost it. But anyway, after doing that for like a couple days, the day after they had rehearsals, oh no, the same night of the mall we had rehearsals, so we like rushed back to Irvine, did rehearsals, and then the next day was the concert, so morning to night we were just there the whole day. And so like as the translator, I was like, I would walk with them to all their like red carpet interview stuff, but then I would never go inside their dressing room because that's like for their staff. So then I had a chair by the door outside their dressing room, and so I would just wait there until they ever needed anything. And I remember a Company Z staff member was like telling me, be careful, this is an SM group, like make sure like you give them whatever they need, and then if they ever need help, just help them out. And then they told me specifically to just sit at that chair and always be ready for them whenever they need it. The other translators kind of had more freedom to kind of roam around, but I think because this is an SM group, like you want to make a good impression for this label so that in the future, like they would want to work with us again. So I was like, okay. So I just sat there, and then the thing is the dressing room was really small, and then where I was sitting, there was like a middle, almost like a empty area with just tables and chairs and like monitors, like right outside all their dressing rooms. So like it was kind of like a square, and there's rooms around the edges, and the middle was like a common area. So then I was just kind of sitting there, and then the EXO members would just come out of their room and like talk to me, go back in, come out, talk to me. And then so we ended up getting very friendly. And then I think a different Company Z staff member saw that I was friendly with them and that SM didn't make any kind of complaints about me. I think they actually said good things about me at that time, because I was kind of like nervous. And so any little thing, like let's say one staff member is like getting up to just get more sauce, I'm like, oh, let me do that for you, like you can sit down, I'll go get it. And I think most of it was because I was so brand new and like freaking out that I had to do everything for them. I just did it, and I think they liked that, so they put in a good word about my work ethics. So then this Company Z staff member was like, oh, we do have another concert / tour planned in the next month or two. Would you be interested in doing that? So I was like, oh, like that sounds great. I had such a good experience here. I think that would be an amazing opportunity. So then I like gave him my number, and I was like, yeah, if you ever do need someone, like feel free to give me a call. I'm not really doing anything anyway, so yeah, I'll do it for you. And then from then on, it was just like event after event. They like kind of trusted me, and then yeah, I started working from then on. So for all of you guys who are wondering like how can I get into a company or what do I need to study, I honestly don't know, because I got in through someone I know. I got in through my brother, and then I ended up staying because SM put in a good word for me. So I didn't have any kind of formal interview. I didn't submit any kind of application. I like to just say I got very, very lucky. And like one event after the other, just luck after luck after luck. And then I somehow ended up putting my foot into the entertainment industry. Okay, so that's my story. Honestly, that was like the longest way of explaining how I got into the industry. I hope it was an interesting story somewhat, but I'm also sorry to everyone who has been asking me for years and years and years what I studied and tips on interviewing and etc. etc. I didn't do any of that, if I'm honest. I got an easy way in, and then I kind of just proved that I was capable of continuing on, and I ended up lasting a good 7 years. So yeah, honestly, if you are trying to get into the industry, I do wish you the best of luck. I'm just not the person who can give you any advice on how to get in. I could probably give you advice on how to survive once you're in, but yeah, I can't offer much help. But if you do get in and you do have any kind of advice, let everyone else know, because I guess it's hard. People are really confused. But yeah. So I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'm not too sure what I'm gonna do my next video on, but if you would like more story times on my experiences, or if you have any like general questions, I did get some questions on like who was the most humble group you worked for, or like what's the most outrageous thing anyone has ever asked for. I did get some questions here and there, so if you guys are interested, I will make another video answering those questions. And if you do have more questions, you can, I don't know, message me on Instagram. Maybe it's been harder to check those lately, so maybe comment here or somewhere. Just, I don't know, I really don't know, we'll see. But yeah, let me know, and I hope you guys have a great day. It's Thanksgiving today, so happy Thanksgiving. And if you're planning on doing Black Friday shopping, good luck, because that is tough.